Hi, this is Kerry Artak with Wicked Stocks bringing you the daily Apple report for Tuesday, April 25th, 2023. Before I click through all the charts, I just want to encourage you to please click like and subscribe if you haven't already. It helps both you and I in terms of me being found on YouTube and you being notified when new content has been uploaded. That includes the daily Apple and Tesla report and an occasional free stock pick we put out on YouTube. Last week we did Enphase. You may check that out. Still relevant. And just know that we do two individual stock picks like that every week at wickedstocks.com that you never see on YouTube. And that would also, if you were to be interested in subscribing to the wickedstocks.com package of analysis, it includes the daily Triple Q and the daily SPY report, just like we have the daily Apple and Tesla report, same format, same delivery. Also weekly analysis in the S&P 500, NASDAQ 100, and the long bond ETF, the TLT, as well as those two individual stock picks every week, $47 a month. We've got a 5-day free trial. Anyway, let's take a look at this chart. I'm going to walk through the big picture, work our way into the day itself. After having essentially tested long-term support in early January in the 120s, mentioning at that time how the 170, 152 channel structure should be considered attainable by some point in 23. And that was answered pretty quickly, just about a month later when we settled above the 135.06 channel top. Then it became a 3 to 5 month target. And about 3-4 weeks ago, we pushed through, after a week of hesitation, the upper 150s, low 160s, and that then indicated 2 to 3 weeks into the 171.32 area. That same formation on the weekly chart is 171.52. You can see upper right here. So that is our ceiling of a resistance. It would meet an objective if you bought out of the money calls over the last few months, few weeks. 171.52 pushing into this zone. It actually begins at 169.60 because on the daily chart I've got 171.32. So once we test 169.60, which is 1% below 171.32, we are entering the zone where you can take profits on those out of the money calls in the 170, 172 area or initiate a short position. And that could look like, and I'll actually jump to that right now, this chart. Once we push into the 170s and you're a 1 to 2 week time horizon trader, you could reach for 161 out of the money puts that don't expire for at least a couple of weeks. You could reach for 153 out of the money puts that don't expire for at least a month. Or you could buy 142 out of the money puts that don't expire for at least several months. All these levels are rising gradually, but I think they'd be the right strikes to purchase. So those are the time frames in terms of option strikes, options expiration, so forth and so on. Now let's get to the day itself. I do have 165.09, this extreme rising channel bottom. It is in correlation with this former channel top at 164.74. It got pretty sloppy on Monday. Even on Friday, we broke below it, did not close below it. We actually closed higher on the day. This may result in follow-through buying today to 167.57. So I'm rounding up to 165.09. As you can see in the support resistance, I'm just using the 165.09 channel bottom as our not only our support for the day. Now 164.74, sure, you can include that, but I will say that if we close below 165.09, that should then pivot the market south, or at least maintain the heavy dynamic that has existed for the last few days. And if we do close below 165.09, I do think within 2 or 3 days we should fall to 160.97, where we could bottom out through next week, and from there within 2 or 3 weeks rally back into the lower 170s as an objective. The 3 to 5 day swing trade is stable to bullish above 165.09, turns bearish below 165.09, expecting 160.97, as I say, within a few days, where we can bottom out through next week. If once again we were to close below 160.97 over the next few weeks, we have a 1 to 2 week sell signal, probably more like 2 to 3 weeks to 152.44, where we could bottom out perhaps through June by that point in time. And finally, it would be a settlement below 152.44 that would indicate another 2 to 3, 3 to 5 week sell-off into the 141.94 region, where by this point, we could actually bottom out through the third quarter and back up again. Let's talk upside today. Sorry about that with the chart. We've got 166 Sorry, one that is not. I'm not using that. Sorry, you've got that in the support and resistance area, but I'm not using it. I am using 167.57, as you can say. Now, that was what you saw there a moment ago, was just sort of, research, and the chart landed on the wrong way. I'm not even going to go back to it, but you could always just rewind the video, right? 167.57 is the meaningful resistance for the day. And I think following this, when we did that last chart, we were negative on the day. It looked like we might even close below this region, but we came back later in the day, closed higher on the day, 165.09, decent support, above which 167.57 in reach, where we can place a daily high. Now we have all these minor points inside, 165.60, 66.03, so forth and so on. All of them worthy day trade levels, especially for aggressive day traders. In terms of an up pivot, today, it is really close. It's really Monday's high. After putting out this low and then over the last 5 days and closing higher on the day, I think pushing or opening above 165.60 presents a constructive dynamic for the entire day, anticipating 167.57, where we can place a daily high. And if we were to close above 167.57, and that's not too far off the high settlement price here from about a week ago at 167.63, closing above 167.57, I would expect that 171 handle long-term resistance, which within a matter of 3 to 5 days, by Friday's close, where once again we can top out on a longer-term basis. I'm going to continue with the upside dynamic here and just remind you that if at the end of the week we close above this 171.32 level, and I'm going to show it on the weekly chart here as 171.52, and that really does need to be by a 1% margin. Add 171 to 171.52, 1.71 to 171.52, and you've got a buy signal if we close there or higher on Friday, a long-term buy signal within 3 to 5 weeks, 182.94, and over the next 5 to 8 months, this rising channel top. That would be unprecedented. We've not seen those price levels ever. In fact, you can see the 182.94 all-time high here. I do think 5 to 8 months would be realistic if we close above 171.52. This 216.91 channel top rising gradually, pushing into the 230s by the end of the year. I think that pretty much rounds it out for Tuesday's Tesla Report. I'll be back again tomorrow with Wednesdays. Please click like, subscribe, and check out wickedstocks.com.